So here we are. This is after the shenanigans of this morning. We've got Vermilion's tank somewhat back in order. Got to reroute those vines up. His food dish fell down, so I got to fix that. And he knocked his hammock down. He's sitting right there. Our big old chunky crested gecko boy. He's a male. His name is Vermilion. Can't really see him from the top there. But our shenanigans, I got him all set up, moved in, completely reworked this enclosure that he's in, new substrate. I used the same plants that were in there, but everything was cleaned out. I soaked the plants, all the roots, in water prior to planting them in here. So everything was all sitting in jars, soaking in water. All of the tank elements that I was going to continue to use, I took out, put them in a bucket, and they were going to get washed. They all got washed, everything got cleaned, with the exception of this big log right here. This log was harboring tons and tons and tons of baby isopods, dairy cows, and oranges, powder oranges. And so I decided just to go ahead and give it a wipe down, knock any little gecko poops off that were on there. Still, there's one that I missed right there, you can see. But so I got it mostly cleaned up. You know, I knew it was going back in his terrarium, and there's springtails and isopods in here to take care of any waste or anything like that. And so I just kind of set it off to the side in a separate tank. I set the log inside of a 10-gallon tank that I just had in my living room. It just kind of sat there. I didn't really pay much attention to it. Wiped it down after I had got the substrate all mixed up, got the drainage layer put in, and I just went ahead and started planting the terrarium. You know, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, all right, cool. You know, those isopods will tunnel out with time, and they'll start helping and impacting the soil and everything. Yesterday morning, I got up and kind of in between where those two root structures meet, there's a big hole there, if you can see it. There's a hole right where the root structure meets. And it goes up inside the log because the log itself is hollow all the way, probably about a good 2-3 inches into the depth of the log is hollow up inside. That's where all the isopods are making their home. I didn't notice after moving it, you know, that there was a pretty big, decently sized pocket, which you will see in just a little bit. The pocket that I found a Mediterranean gecko hiding in. I walked into my room last night, and Vermilion was sitting up on top of this vine here, and he was just chilling. And I looked down, and on the front of the log, right about here where my finger is, there was a Mediterranean gecko sitting there. And I kind of did a double take, and in the time that it took me to realize that it was, in fact, a gecko, it had ran down into the hole there. So last night I had set up a little makeshift trap with a bottle, just a plastic water bottle that I had. I cut the top off, put the top inside. I'll actually pull it out here so you guys can see it. But I just filled it with a little bit of Pangea, thinking that, you know, maybe the Mediterranean would smell something sweet and go inside of this homemade trap. So I covered up any kind of sharp edges or anything like that that could hurt either him or Vermilion. I was planning on taking the Mediterranean and just starting another enclosure for him because I've kept Mediterraneans in the past. They're an invasive species here in Arizona. And so if I find them, usually I'll just bring them inside and set up a little tank. I've had them escape and, you know, don't know what happened to them, but we just kind of let them do their thing. And if they get out, then, you know, that's cool. They can eat the bugs in the house. At least they're not outside impacting the ecosystem. So I thought, you know, maybe I could catch him in this. and left it sitting in there overnight, and he of course did not come inside. So this morning I got up and decided to do this on Facebook Live because I was like, well, I know I'm not crazy. I know it was a gecko. My partner kind of doubted it at first. She's like, are you sure it was a gecko and not just like another a dubia roach or something in there from his previous feedings, or a really big isopod? And I was like, no, I'm 100% sure it was a gecko. I saw its face, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to cut to the live feed, or the live stream of us finding this gecko. It's going to play a little bit beforehand, so I mean, if you want to skip, maybe I'll put a video tag in the description so you can skip to where just the Mediterranean gecko is found living inside of the log. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and move Vermilion out of his enclosure. This is going to be exciting in and of itself because he does not like being handled. He's never been handled by his previous owners, so it's gonna be a bit of a challenge to get him into this container. Okay. Okay, Vermilion is in here now. He's not happy with me at all. He did not like being picked up. But now let's go ahead and tear this log apart. We're going to see if we can find the intruder in here. Go ahead and take this hammock down. Trap that I set up to try to catch it last night. Put a little bit of Pangea inside, hoping that maybe it would go for it, but nothing. So keep digging here. This makes me sad because I put in a lot of work to get this enclosure looking decent, even though it's not the best enclosure for Vermilion. I had to at least get him into something. The previous owners had him in this enclosure. Right now I'm looking for an 18 by 18 by 24 or an 18 by 18 by 36 to move him into as his final home. So I've done some editing to help the progress of the video. I went ahead and sped this up. As it sits, the video is already about 20 minutes, so pushing on a little bit of a timely video here, but here we go. He was sitting right here on the wood, sitting right there where my fingers are, and ran straight down here into this hole. There's a hole. I can almost get my finger down there, but a pretty decent sized hole that goes down into that log. And that little gecko scurried right down in there, and I couldn't see him again, so I'm trying to figure out if we can get him out of here. Let's go ahead and dump the water. That's fine. Okay. Move some of these rocks. Some of this leaf litter. Move this baby pothos right here. Okay, and I'm going to take the phone off and I'm going to show the hole where the little guy's hiding out. If I can get a good angle on it. This right here is the hole where the gecko scurried into. So we're going to take that log out and see if we can find it. Alright, you guys have got a good view of the log. Let's go ahead and do the pull. Okay, log is up. So far I don't see anything down in the dirt. I'm going to try to turn the log towards you guys so you can see this massive colony of isopods we have in here. And there he is, I see him. It is a Mediterranean. Yep, we've got a Mediterranean gecko in here. Pretty decent size. Let me see if I can get the camera to where you guys can see him. We've got a Mediterranean house gecko. I knew it was a gecko. I'm here. Let's turn our flash on. Up inside this hole, look at all of our isopods here. Got a bunch of dairy cows. And look, there's our intruder. There he is. Hi, little buddy. You're not supposed to be in there. You're not supposed to be in there. What are you doing in there, little guy? This is awesome. This is really awesome. Wow. Can you guys see him in there? His little faces. Oh, sorry, those are dairy cows. There he is. Looky there. Where's he going? Okay, he can't get out that way. Are you gonna come out this way, buddy? I gotta try to catch you. Look at him, he's coming out. We gotta get you out of there, little guy. This is hilarious. Look at him, you see his little face? His little face is right here. Wow, this is awesome. Let me go ahead and end the live real quick. I'm going to try to get him out and just see what we can do. I have another tank over here that was used for a Mediterranean previously. And we're going to try to get him inside there and see if we can't get a good video. Okay, yeah, so it kind of cut off a little bit at the end there, but you were able to see the gecko inside of the log. I did end up taking the gecko, taking the log actually, placed it inside of another tank. I had it sitting right here in this open space on the floor, took the log out, set it inside the tank. It wasn't quite big enough to fit, so the log was sticking out up on top of this basically just a plastic Sterilite container, and I was using a pen, this pen right here. I went down into the hole where the little gecko was, right in there, and just kind of got this pen behind him and tried to nudge him out a little bit. He did end up running out. He got on top of the log where I could get, a hand on him. I got a hold of him, but I wasn't holding him very tight. I didn't want to hurt him. And he bit my finger and twisted a little bit. It didn't hurt me, of course. He's just a little bitty Mediterranean. But he twisted out of my hand. He jumped onto the side of this plastic tote, ran around the side of it, down onto the floor, and underneath this dresser. As you can see, it's pretty locked in here. Sorry, this is a bit of a mess. This is my bedside table. I keep my Panda King isopods here. I've got my female Crested Gecko, Celia, here. Her tank needs a little bit of a clean. She's a very, very pretty girl, very sweet. I can actually handle her, unlike Vermilion. She's pretty tolerant to being handled. She'll jump around and hide a little bit, but once she calms down, she's pretty chill. You can hold on to her. But since she's up there and all of the electrical wiring for her tank, I'm not able to actually pull everything out right at the moment and get under there and try to find the Mediterranean geckos. So hopefully, maybe he'll make himself known in here inside of the room. We don't let our cats in here, obviously, because I've got my 2 geckos in here. Our dog does stay in here, but she only sleeps in here with us at night, and she's scared of everything. So I'm almost 100% certain that even seeing a tiny little Mediterranean gecko would probably send her running up on top of our bed to try to hide from it. So I'm going to keep an eye out over the next few days, see if maybe we can find this little guy. I'm not too worried about it because they are very conditioned to living inside of homes. Our home has pretty habitable conditions for the little guy. Not very high humidity, but there are bugs that get in from time to time, and Mediterranean geckos are known for getting into people's houses and living on the walls and behind furniture and everything, and coming out at night to eat whatever bugs are in the house. So, I mean, the only concern that I really have is him getting out of the room and maybe one of the cats getting a hold of him, which would be pretty heartbreaking. But I'm going to stay hopeful, stay positive that maybe we can find this little guy and get him into an enclosure. If I can do that, I might post an update video and show you the little guy. I've decided to nickname him Sam Hill because that's about what I said as soon as I saw him was, what in Sam Hill? My Southern came out there for a second, and I was pretty shocked, to find such a small little gecko inside of this big male's enclosure. Males are usually pretty territorial, and I would think that, maybe he would try to eat the other gecko, and maybe he did try because that gecko was missing a portion of its tail. Mediterraneans do grow them back, so I'm not concerned with that. He does have a defense mechanism still available if he does per se happen to have a run-in with our cats. Maybe he'll be able to drop the remaining portion of his tail and get away safely and hide somewhere for a little while until we can hopefully find him. But we have had Mediterraneans escape before in the house and just haven't been able to find them. One of the Mediterraneans that we had in a tank for a little while was actually found inside of the house. So yeah, we're gonna keep our eyes open for this guy. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys like this content, give it a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys can see when I post more videos. Mainly I post drone videos on this channel. FPV footage and stuff like that. But I will be updating more about my reptiles. We have the 2 geckos in here, like I said. We also have a Mexican black king snake that lives in the living room, and a ball python that's currently in my office. And so I will give you an update on these guys, Vermilion and Celia, as well as Diego, our Mexican black king snake, and Olaf, our ball python. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe again, like I said, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.